Hey, I'm back. Not that anyone noticed or actually cares. I had to do this emergency unboxing because there was a product that I was supposed to review like a while back, but I gotten so busy and I never got around to opening the box, and now it's infested with termites. Oh my god. The box was ravaged by termites, as you can plainly see here, and it's pretty bad. But I have rescued the laptop that came in the box, and so we are going to be having a look at this. You know what? I think for the first time, I'm gonna have attachment issues. I think I'm gonna have a hard time letting this one go. Before we begin, I'd just like to apologize sincerely because I did not write a script for this episode because I was too lazy. And so I'm just gonna have to wing it, and I am not good at winging it, and so this is going to suck. But like I always say, success begins with suck. This is the Asus ProArt Studiobook 16, and as its name suggests, it was designed around the needs and the requirements of professional artists, people like designers and architects and filmmakers and animators, illustrators, those kinds of people, creative folk. If you are the kind of person that I just described and you have money, this is for you. Under the hood, we've got some really sweet specs on this machine, starting off with the AMD Ryzen 9 5900HX processor. So that's 8 cores, 16 threads, boosts all the way up to 4.6 gigahertz. In the graphics department, you have an NVIDIA RTX 3070 mobile gaming chip, so that means that even though this is a productivity machine, it's no slouch in gaming either. This machine comes with 32 gigs of RAM, but you can expand it up to 64 gigs. It also has a 1TB M.2 NVMe, but it has 2 slots, so you can actually fill it up to 4 terabytes, which is exactly what you need for those humongous video files. Going over the side, you see there is an SD card slot. It's not just any SD card slot, it is SD Express 7.0. You can have close to 1 gigabyte per second transfer speeds. For offloading tons of footage, that's going to be a lifesaver. We have to talk about this gorgeous 4K OLED display. 16:10 aspect ratio, so for you video editors with tons and tons of layers, you get a few extra layers, which is useful. I prefer a taller screen myself. This display is Pantone validated as well as Kalman verified. Pantone validated means it's color accurate for things like manufacturing and print, whereas Kalman verified means that it's color accurate for things like color correction in video and cinema and that kind of stuff, to make sure that whatever you're displaying here will display consistently on all kinds of screens. You don't get to hear the term mil-spec often used to describe laptops, but this laptop in particular is indeed mil-spec. It was designed to be ultra tough and military grade in its durability and can withstand things like humidity and vibration, altitudes, high temperatures, low temperatures, and being dropped, which I am not going to do. But I think the most prominent feature for this particular laptop would have to be this, the Asus Dial, which is basically a control surface that you can customize for different apps. Out of the box, it comes pre-configured for Adobe CC, so if you're using Photoshop, After Effects, Premiere, you can use this dial to control different parameters, and you can use it as a jog wheel in Premiere, which can be very useful. As someone who uses interfaces a lot, it's nice to have a control surface, something that you can easily access and to control various parameters that you always tweak, and that's what this represents. The connectivity options are actually pretty good and pretty generous. You've got a bunch of USB 3.2 Gen 2 ports, both in the USB-A and USB-C varieties over here. You've got HDMI 2.1, so this thing can actually support a display of up to 8K at 120 frames per second. And then if you include your headphone jack and the fast SD cards, you've got plenty of connectivity options. You can customize a lot of the functionality of this machine through the Asus ProArt Creator Hub. You can configure the Asus Dial depending on what software you need to run it on. Photoshop, After Effects, Premiere Pro, there's already some presets here. This is also where you do color calibration as well as all kinds of assorted control settings and performance optimization options. They're all here. Okay, control surfaces and features are nice to have and they're pretty useful, but what about performance? That's the thing that really matters, right? Well, as far as performance goes, I would have to say I am pretty impressed by this thing. This can handle 4K video editing, no problem, with all the color correction and everything. In fact, I would say that this is at least at par with my desktop back there. Okay, granted that my desktop is 2 generations older, a 3950X, and it has more cores and more threads. But this thing is a newer process node and it has half the cores, but it is punching way above its weight, pretty close to what this machine is capable of. And that is what makes me really attached to this machine. I don't want to let it go ever. But the thing is, the next generation or the next iteration of this thing with the 6000 series processors is going to be even more robust. But what about gaming? Can it game? Short answer, yeah. The 3070 is more than adequate to handle all of your gaming needs. It can give you high frame rates at cranked up settings just fine. Having said that, I don't get to game a lot these days, and that is why my life is sad. And now we're gonna check out the webcam. Okay, now so over here we have, as you can see, the quality of the webcam video as well as the microphone audio that's built into the laptop. It's functional, it's good enough, it'll get the job done, but what I really like about this camera is this little privacy slider that you can slide over the lens and, you know, completely obscure yourself. That is a win for privacy. Ultimately, the best thing about this laptop is the fact that it's available in the Philippines.
Philippines!
You can get it at Vilman for roughly 160,000, and yeah, that's not cheap, that's pretty steep, but if you can afford it, it's worth it. I can't afford it. I'm sorry. And so if you're a creative professional and you're looking for a machine that you can ride into battle, you can't go wrong with the Asus ProArt Studiobook 16. This baby will punch above its weight, do a lot of heavy lifting for you. I also conclude that you should subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notifications so that, you know, I can monetize this channel, and one day, someday, I can afford this. One more, fucker. Under the hood, we got some really sweet specs, starting off with the we've got some fucker. And Calman, on the other hand, is more for cinema, for, fuck. I should have written a script.